it's never something that I dreamed playing for the Bananas. This wasn't going on back when I played, because I'm a little older. I'm 34, so this wasn't around back in my younger days. So I'm just crazy happy that I was healthy enough to do this at my age. I hadn't picked a baseball up in about 10 years, so
Wow.
so it was cool that I got to come out here and do this.
Well, how did you get started in it?
So I learned about the Bananas because one of my best friends actually coaches the CPL team, Tyler Gillum. We grew up just in neighboring towns. He was a year older than I was, so we grew up playing against each other and with each other on our summer ball team. So I was always a huge Tyler Gillum fan. He was an awesome guy to look up to. He actually coached me my last year of college. I came back to Ada, Oklahoma, East Central University, and he was the GA that year. So he actually coached me. He got hooked up with the Bananas, and he coaches a little junior college baseball in Phoenix, Arizona, and me and my wife make trips out there to see him regularly. Him and his wife. My wife and his wife's like best friends. So we went out there last year, and probably during spring break, and he had a phone call with the Bananas, and it was the head coach of the premier team, and I had never heard that they were doing a pro team, and I was like, Tyler, what is that all about? He's like, yeah, they've started a pro team, and I just got excited just right off the bat. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that so bad. I wish I was a little younger, but that sounds so neat, because I already liked the Bananas, the college team, so I was like, when's a tryout? And sure enough, I wasn't going to actually go to the tryout because I was kind of insecure about my age and what people would think at the fire department and what family would think. And my wife, about, I don't know, 2 weeks prior to the tryout, she was like, Matt, you got to go do this. You got to go do this. This is you to a T. So I went out there and I didn't prepare a bit, hardly, through, I think, 3 bullpens. And I made the team, so it was a really exciting thing for me.
How much, of the tryouts and all, how much of it is, just athletic ability and just being entertaining,
Well, I think it's equal. Obviously you don't put on a good show if you can't play good baseball, but there's also that entertainment side of it, too. So there's a balance between the two, and, growing up, me being, from all the way back into Little League, I can remember me. I just always liked to goof around and have a good time. I was a competitor at heart, and I always wanted to win, but I also wanted to have fun any chance I could get. And that's what I believe the Bananas are about, fun any chance they can get, and just being crazy, and it's a lot of fun to play that way. It's kind of like taking you back to the backyard with your friends when you're littler, playing wiffle ball. You're trying to win, but you're also having a lot of fun in the process. Well, it's a lot quicker of a game, isn't it? And some of those rules, kind of make it more interesting. Not that baseball in itself is not interesting. I'm still a huge fan of traditional baseball, but my personality fits the Bananas kind of like to a T. It's just, we take things so serious sometimes, and especially when you get to a little bit higher level of baseball, and your livelihood's on the line. It's hard not to ride those waves, and sometimes your joy gets taken away. And that's what I loved about the Bananas, is you can just be as joyful as possible out there. There were still pressures of the game, just like in traditional baseball. I mean, pressures to perform, because like we talked about earlier, you still want to play good baseball, and the mental side of the game still comes into effect in banana ball, just like it does in the traditional sport, if not more. I battled some mental battles just like I did back in college ball at the beginning, and worried so much about my performance that there again, I didn't allow myself to have fun. And once I kind of forgot about performance so much and just went back to trying to have a good time and smile and laugh. It seems like my performance got a little bit better. I'm just a small town Oklahoma boy. I've never been in front of a lot of fans like that. So it was, and that added to the pressure a little bit, to be honest with you. But it's that group of guys as a whole probably love baseball more than anybody I've ever been around. And you always got something special if you got a group of people pulling from the same end of the rope. And I felt like that's what they had there for the Bananas. Everybody was pulling from the same end of the rope. Everybody had your back, and it was just awesome being in that atmosphere where everybody was rooting for you. It was really, really special. I had heard of Eric Burns, and I didn't really know him real well, but I'd heard of him. I looked him up on the MLB Network, and I drew an instant connection with him, I guess, just by watching his videos, because he has so much passion for the game. And he has one, I love that video where he's rounding third. I don't know if you should look it up. It's pretty awesome. He's rounding third, and he's kind of taking you in the mind of somebody rounding third, and there's going to be a play at the plate, and he just plows over the catcher. He has like a Gatorade jug and a few things, and he just does it 100%. 100% max effort, and I just couldn't help but to relate to that and that energy. I mean, it was really awesome playing for a guy like that with that much energy and passion.
Do you eat macaroni and cheese with a fork or spoon?
Oh man, that's a really important question. I throw a little pepper on my macaroni and cheese, and I eat it with a fork.